Beyond Good and Evil continues to look like an amazing next-generation game, but something that was hinted at in the fourth livestream might give some fans a cause to be concerned. It looks like character customization will be really limited. Hello, fellow Space Monkeys. This is the Mildly Morose Man, otherwise known as Dan or Dan the Man, whichever you fancy. I am here to bring you another thought-provoking video on the video game Beyond Good and Evil 2. Be sure to subscribe if you want to stay up to date on all things Beyond Good and Evil 2. And from the beginning, this game has had an emphasis on self-expression. The Beyond Good and Evil 2 website has been fairly active since the announcement that the game was in development. They have been engaging in conversation with fans about what religious influence they would like to see in the game's architecture, the types of oppression that might occur within the universe, and what kind of vehicles we want to be able to ride around in this universe. The developers continue to talk about the personal impact that we as players are going to get to have on the world. Because of some of these different focuses, self-expression won't be seen as much in character creation and customization. I think our options for character creation will be pretty limited in terms of what people might be expecting. We begin to learn more about characters and character customization in the fourth Space Monkey livestream that was broadcast in December of 2018. Here are a couple of important quotes straight from the discussion between Gab and Emil. At that time, cloning was the only way to populate this new solar system, so people in System 3 have been created from a limited number of DNA strands that they had on board that very first starship. It means that all the people you meet in Beyond Good and Evil 2 are clones coming from those limited number of DNA strands. And a little later in the video, to create your own character, you will be able to create your own visual identity, your own visual aspects among all the DNA strands that we are using to create all the characters in the game. So I think what this actually means is that we won't have many customization options in Beyond Good and Evil 2. Even further than that, the only customization options we might have could be limited to things like clothing and other jewelry type items. Part of this is speculation, but the language that was used by Emil was visual identity and visual aspects. It seems to me that this type of language is one step away from actually getting to shape who our characters will be in a real physical sense. Identity seems to have more to do with clothing or tattoos or maybe even different types of scars and things like that, but for all of you who are looking to have character customization options on par with a game like Black Desert Online, should probably look elsewhere. The options that are explicitly mentioned in the live video are a choice between male and female of various ethnicities, along with the ability to choose from various hybrid types like we see with Nox's monkey-human hybrid. So maybe this concept art will help you imagine what this might look like in-game. It is this concept art in particular that is making me think that this is truly what they mean as they talk about the reality that only so many DNA strands were brought on the ship that first arrived in System 3, the solar system where the game takes place. And again, if you watch the early game trailer that they showed during this fourth live report, then you will see that the two characters that are being played look almost exactly like Nox and Shawnee, except they're not. But we should know that Nox is sporting a lighter skin tone. But these characters are definitely clones, based on the DNA of Nox and Shawnee respectively. And as they introduce these two characters, the only custom options that they emphasize are clothing and tattoos as the things that make these characters unique from Nox and Shawnee, with whom they share the same DNA. Again, you can notice that this monkey-human hybrid has a different skin color than the legendary character Nox. The mechanical arm is even on the same hand as Nox from previous trailers and gameplay demos. And actually, all of the monkey-human hybrids seem to have the same amputated left arm. Nox, the player character in the fourth livestream, the monkey-human hybrid laid out on the medical table. It seems that all of the monkey-human hybrids from this particular DNA strand will have this arm in common. And you might be wondering about some concept art and early development footage that seems to be pointing to a more diverse and involved character creation tool. Well, firstly, we have seen earlier in the fourth livestream that a monkey-human hybrid has a mechanical right arm in some concept art describing the slave miner situation on the side of the moon opposite of Ganesha City. And until we see gameplay that shows us we can choose what hand is amputated and needs a mechanical arm, we should take this with a grain of salt. We also need to realize what a different early shot of game development footage was really trying to communicate to fans. Even early on, in the first Space Monkey livestream, the developers were talking about how DNA would play a role in characters and their backstories. They showed this footage before beginning to discuss hybrids for the first time. We have to interpret this footage based on what we know from the fourth livestream, that all characters in the game will be clones. At the time of the first livestream, Michelle Ancel said that this was open and possible to be put into the hands of the player. But I think this focus has shifted since that first livestream. So they were not showing off some in-game character creation tool with this footage. Rather, they were showing off behind-the-scenes character creation that is used to generate a single character that is linked to a specific DNA strand that could be cloned again and again and again in System 3. It might have been a dream for the development team at one point, but we cannot think that there will be some character creation tool that will allow us to create some character that is a human, shark, panda hybrid. Instead, the only characters that we will be able to create are clones with preset physical features. Gab provides a revealing bit of information by talking about how we might think characters are generic, but they will have some backstory. We understand now that even legendary characters won't look different from their DNA cloned counterparts because everybody's a clone, but legendary characters will have rich backstories that are different from your average run-of-the-mill clone. And this makes me think that they had some of this cloning DNA idea already implemented in the game's development by that first livestream. And as some things about character creation might have changed from this first livestream to the fourth livestream, the idea of character story is challenging to understand. Later in the first livestream, they talk about the possibility of parents and grandparents playing an important role in characters' backstory along with playable events that can take place in-game. Michelle Ancel actually says that at one point you can have Nox be a part of your crew. Something in the game might trigger an event where Nox's grandparents die, and you have the opportunity to experience that story as it takes place by going back to Nox's hometown in order to participate in whatever in-life ritual might be taking place. So, first off, in what sense does someone actually have parents or grandparents if everyone is a clone? We know that everyone in the game is not able to make babies on their own. But maybe women still carry these cloned children in their own wombs? That way, families would naturally form so that Nox could be found in a situation like what was described in that first livestream. Or might this be hinting at a different mechanic to generate backstory for characters on a larger scale? What if every monkey-human hybrid had the same opportunity to unlock a rich backstory about the first hybrid who carried that DNA to System 3? This wouldn't take away from the possibility of having more recent backstories that involve a character's childhood and young adult years, or the death of a parent or a grandparent, but it might describe what is meant by language like parent or grandparent. You see, in one sense, different sets of clones will have the same DNA parent from which they could discover their generational roots by playing out scenes of interactive memories. A lot of this is just trying to make sense of the little information that we have, but I would like to raise our attention to one more piece of content. Notice what we can see when looking at the monkey-human hybrid on the table in the fourth livestream. We see that he is from the 17th DNA strand, which is a monkey-human hybrid. He is a hybrid slave, and he is common. First, he is common as opposed to legendary. We do not know much about this distinction apart from legendary characters have a richer backstory. But we can also tell that he is a hybrid slave. We don't know much about this either, except for the fact that he would probably be a miner and would most likely live in the slums found in the lower levels of Ganesha City. Finally, we see that he is a monkey-human hybrid from the 17th DNA strand. Hopefully, this means that there are at least 17 types of characters to pick from. But we can't think that all strands are still available, Maybe some of them have gotten lost or have become corrupt. The information is also given that this is a monkey-human hybrid. It seems appropriate, though, to hold out hope that there is a lot of different DNA strands to choose from. So maybe there would be a couple or a few different options within each hybrid category. So maybe there would be 5 different humans to choose from, 3 different monkey hybrids and 2 fish hybrids, for example. But the main point is, I don't think we're going to be able to change minor or any physical features on our characters. I just can't see that being the case based on the language of clones and the gameplay footage we've seen so far. But even still, we might have a long list of different DNA strands to choose from. If this concept art is anything to go by, we will have at least 22 different character DNA strands to choose from. So it looks like this could be a good outline of the characters that will be available to choose from when picking a DNA strand for our own player characters. You can see Shani and Nox are here. A Lee Dayut type character from the reveal trailer can be seen in the front just off center by the lizard hybrid. And the human male with the red bandana might just be a Callum clone from the second trailer that we saw in 2018. And a Paige type character is sitting right there in front and center. And now we don't see Uma in this picture, and I don't think Zhao Yuzu either, because it doesn't look like he shares the same DNA with Paige. And Jade is nowhere to be seen, but who knows what's happening with her. All that to say, there could still be a lot of character types to choose from, and if there are still some minor customization options like skin color, hairstyle, jewelry, tattoos, and things like scars, I think that would be enough, considering just how massive this game is going to be in general. There has to be limits to game development, and Beyond Good and Evil 2 will take place in a whole solar system. By taking this approach to characters in the game, they will actually be able to spend time and resources on other gameplay systems, like developing meaningful backstories for these characters, deep combat systems that feel responsive but not rigid, and branching options for character interaction that will lead to unique gameplay experiences. All of these things will be super important for the life and longevity of the game. So, would you be okay with limited character customization in Beyond Good and Evil 2? Tell me what you think this means for the game in general, and especially the story in particular. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video at all, and be back for the next one if you want to hear more content from this mildly morose man.